As we're starting, my first question is going to go to you, Ms. Erin. Why we chose mental health nursing?
I think a lot of people go into nursing for mental health mostly because they don't want to deal with poop. We just deal with poop in a different way. Not the tubes, it's usually thrown at you.
If you are into content that inspires, surprises, and sticks with you, hit that subscribe. Turn on those notifications, and let's get busy. Hi, we are back again to continue our conversation on mental health with friends of the show. Ladies, would you introduce yourself?
My name's Erin. I'm a psychiatric registered nurse.
I'm Shelby. I'm a LVN and I do psych nursing.
Thank you. So, as we're starting, my first question is going to go to you, Ms. Erin. Why we chose mental health nursing?
Well, Job, I would say I've done a variety of nursing. I think a lot of people go into nursing for mental health mostly because they don't want to deal with poop. We just deal with poop in a different way. Not the tubes, it's usually thrown at you. But I would say that my motivation for working with people that struggle with their mental health is I've definitely struggled with my own. My mom passed away when I was 19 years old, and she was sick for almost a decade before that. And so I had my own shares of dealing with depression and anxiety and substance abuse and feeling lost and really embracing my own personal suffering and making sense of it and turning it into something that wasn't so terrible. So for me, my why is, lessening the suffering in others. And we can't fix anything, but at least sitting with people in that so that they don't have to be alone. When I was younger, I felt very alone going through all of that.
Yeah, Michelle, do you have anything to add?
I think our stories are really similar. My father got killed when I was 3.
You
in
never
a
shared
car.
that with us. Oh, for real?
Yeah, when I in a car accident.
Oh, yeah,
Actually,
yeah.
drinking and driving. It's not to,
Yes.
but he wasn't I mean, my mom was like, he could drink way more than he did that night. But anyway,
Yes,
long
yes.
story. But regardless, it affected my life greatly. I remember, I don't know, it's just a lot of things. But I can understand what you said. Like I battled through a lot of stuff. It wasn't just because of that, but I think a lot of things that I've gone through in life and losing people. I've watched a lot of my family members die, just stuff. And got into, drugs, prescription drugs, being put on prescription drugs,
Yes.
having anxiety, being in an abusive relationship, just a lot of stuff that I can understand where these people come from. They're good people. They're, they've gone through things that have led them down this path, whether it's on their own or, through other people. But it's just, I can relate. And so I like to help people. I didn't know that I would do this. I think God led me to this job. I thought it was a hospital, like a regular hospital. I didn't know it was psychiatric. And so
That's when you first started, right?
yes. And I started talking to the guy, and he was like, the DON, and he's, said, have you ever taken care of psychiatric patients? And I was like, what? Well, then I realized, I was like, yeah, I take care of all kinds of people. They're sad, but no one wants to talk to them. That was in regular nursing. And I said, and they just sit in there and they're lonely and they need help in a different way, but people don't even notice that. They just see their their medical side. And so I ended up going, we really connected, and I can't tell you, it was probably maybe a couple of years ago that I realized my purpose had been fulfilled in a way. Like it's not completely yet, because I think that I'm going to do more, and that's what we've talked about. But there's this point in my life where I said, this is why I went through all of those things.
Yes.
Those hard times that I went through now have given me the tools to understand these people and like help them and be understanding, have a different view because I've been there. And people who haven't been there, or if you say you haven't been there, you're probably lying. If you don't know someone that needs help or depressed or sad or have been abused or whatever the thing might be, and be an alcoholic, you know, or using drugs, you have been exposed to that. So you're exposed to mental health people way more than you realize in daily, daily interactions.
Right.
So based on everything you just told us, right? And we already know like America is changing today, right? So what is the future of the homeless people look like in America?
Well, the reason we're discussing this topic is because the majority of the patients that we care for on a daily basis struggle with housing insecurity and, you know, deep trauma histories. And so that's why that's being brought up right now.
Yes.
That's
Can't keep relationships or don't have any.
Yeah, that's a huge subset of like the mental health population that we deal with. They don't have anywhere to go. They have no resources or support. And so that's why this theme keeps coming up in this conversation.
Yes.
So Shelby, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that's the majority of our population, and it's not someone, it's always seen as, and I know it's a stigma, but many people view those people as drug addicts who don't want any better for themselves. They're pieces of shit. And it's losers, lazy.
Made really bad decisions.
You don't know. You don't know the story behind that person. And it's just heartbreaking to be on this side. It's actually worn me down to where it's like it's hard for me to keep doing it because no one seems to care about these people. But the people like us taking care of them. And it's so hard because you know the struggles they've had, and how do you expect them to be better when you as a person aren't better?
Yes.
You just have more resources. You have money, you have an ID, you have family, you have all those things. They don't have that. And so they are supposed to be this fabulous human being.
Yes.
And then let's talk about Washington. I'm just going to bring that up. Look at, and I'm not for or against either side. Well, I'm against both sides. I'll say that.
They also
This country has gone to hell in a handbasket since COVID. But before that, it's been terrible for years, and people don't realize that. I'm not saying America's not a good place to be. We have so many opportunities, but the way things are done in this country have been eye-opening to me. I research that kind of stuff. I read about what is going on. And with homelessness, people are being kicked out of communities. They have nowhere to go. It's not just in Washington, but it's being publicized big time in Washington. And people in just towns are homeless. Families, women that are running from abusers. And they have no one else but that abuser. They have children out there on the streets. I mean, when you sign your kid up for school, it says, are you homeless? Do you have housing? You don't realize that people are out there with children, and there are people that come to our facilities, and we need to do better for them as a society. They are human beings, and they're part of this country. A lot of them are veterans. A lot of them have PTSD. Why wouldn't they drink? A lot of women do methamphetamines to stay up all night so they're not raped, so that they aren't asleep on the street and they're attacked. I've had many women tell me that.
Right. But okay, so
I mean, that's not an excuse. It really is happening. And you can say it's an excuse, but it's reality.
It's deeper than
what people
we don't want to help you because they don't. It's now we want to hide you so that nobody else knows that you exist.
Yes.
But do you think government is capable of helping them?
Of course they
Man,
are.
I don't know. I mean, I would imagine so. They can do whatever they want.
If you can do what we're doing, you're housing immigrants. in this country, and you can't make cots for these homeless people and put alligators around them. And here we go down another road, but I'm not going there. I'm sorry. We need to do better as a society and look at these people and ask questions. You can't put, and I heard a song the other day, like you can't put everything on a sign. Not that all of the homeless are with a sign, but there's a lot of there's so much story behind each individual. People are abused. You brought up earlier, like
the example of a young boy who had been in a psychiatric facility that was talking to therapists there. And every time he comes in, he's filled with rage. He's explosive. Everybody knows to just leave him alone because he just cannot tolerate or have the capacity for human interaction.
Yeah.
And from the ages of like 7 to 15-ish, he was raped by, elders in his church. He went to his family. They're all members of the church. He told them what was going on. They didn't believe them. They suppressed him for being able to speak his truth. Going from that,
probably put him on prescription meds.
Well, no, they didn't do anything for him. But having no support from his family members, no protection from his family members, all of that continued for half a decade or more. And he developed a drug habit to deal with and numb the pain. And just, that is one set of events that led to, this guy's drug use and eventual, dysregulation of his nervous system and his mental health spiraling out. Nobody sees that. They just see the guy on the corner that's asking for things and talking to himself and whatever, that's
it's out of sight, out of mind again. Back to that. Let's hide it.
Right.
We don't want to know.
Right.
People don't want to know what's wrong with them. And so you need to know what's wrong with them if you're going to judge them and not kick them out and not want to help them and get them out of your communities. And even in our communities in this area, if you're caught out there, you're going to jail or to our facilities.
Right.
They pick you up. They put you out of sight. They don't want to see it. Where are you going to put these people that need help? And yes, they are talking to themselves. Who knows why? They've built, there's so many reasons people do that.
And like where we live, we're all in like the Conroe, Texas area, right? There is a large homeless shelter right smack in the middle of downtown Conroe. So what they do is they open their doors at about 4 p.m. It's first come, first serve, get a cot, you get meals, but every morning, whenever everybody's up, I don't know what the rules and regulations are, they send everybody out of that shelter for the day and basically tell them to go be productive, try to find jobs, do whatever, right? With like a sack lunch. I think they feed them breakfast before they, make them leave the facility. And that's when they get picked up for trespassing because they are not allowed to just sit and rest anywhere. Like if the cops see these people hanging out and loitering, they will pick them up. But it's also like, okay, you're sending them out to find jobs. Like you had mentioned previously, a lot of these people don't have the supporting documents to be able to get gainful employment. Like they don't have anything that they would need to be able to secure employment.
You go find a job with no ID and no social security card and no clean clothes and you're more likely to go find meth, right? Or synthetic.
Oh, for sure.
Because that's going to be outside the door, which is what the truth. And they kick you out all day. They don't care if you're getting a job. Sadly, they just want you to leave their premises. And then the line to try to get in there is forever. And it's full all the time. The cities across America need to invest property and put these people in houses that they can start their lives in. They can build themselves up. They can give them the things, help them get the things they need, and then put them in, housing and let them work their way out of it. You can't expect them to go, boom, I've got it all together. Okay. I don't even have it all together, and I've got all the things I need.
Definitely not.
So how do you expect them to do it? It's horrible.
So anyway, Miss Shelby, how do you grade yourself dealing with the mental health?
Super caring. Over the top caring.
Top caring?
Yeah. I mean, just Yeah.
Above and beyond.
really get into why are you here? Most
Mhm.
people don't ask those questions. They are like, how would you rate your anxiety on a scale of 0 to 10?
Mhm.
And then they just go through these stupid questions instead of like, what's going on with you? How, just normal talking to someone about how you are and why are you here? How did you get here? Most people look at you weird. Like, what do you mean? Why am I here? They've never been asked that story by
Yeah.
their doctors, by anybody.
Yeah.
And I ask those questions
Yes.
and try to help them.
Miss Ari.
Well,
Okay, go ahead.
number
Continue.
one, I want to say
Mhm.
about Shelby is,
Yes.
whenever I have patients that are looking for a mental health facility,
Mhm.
I try to send them to go be with Shelby.
Aw.
I said,
Yeah.
and out of all the facilities, and I worked at a lot of them, that is going to be the one that like you want to go to.
Yes, I give
Very
Bishabi, yeah.
And
for
like
real.
I have
I give you
patients
A
that
plus
come
on
in
that.
to our other facility who have been Aspire patients. And I'm like, oh, you know Shelby? And everybody knows Shelby.
But no, you
Aw.
both have good work ethics, though. I always
I would
enjoy
say the
working
same
with
for
you
you,
guys.
Aaron.
Yeah, good work.
I think that's how, why we're good at this is we understand and we really care and they know we care,
Yes.
and I think that's important to give people respect and love, and you'll see them do better, put some clean clothes on those people. And, I dress my guys up and I'm like, look how handsome you look. And they look in the mirror, and they're like, oh my gosh, and that's what this is about for me. And I think I'm not trying to tell people how to be a nurse. I mean, just be a good human being, and
Yeah.
if I could do that on a daily outside of that place, it would be great too, but I think that you are so compassionate and down to earth with people.
Mhm.
They know that you care. You look them in the eye. You say, what can I do for you? What is it? And it's just so important. And I love that about you. And I think you're a good job too with them.
I
Jay
think,
Busy.
I think that Job is kind of
Jay
like
Busy.
a
Big teddy bear.
gentle, goofy
Yes.
giant
Yes.
who, because of some past experiences, you have some reservation with like being involved in the physical
Yes,
side
yes,
of
yes.
things, and
Yes.
I get that.
Yeah.
But I think just like your sheer presence on the units whenever anything's happening,
Yeah.
Verbal
It's helpful.
interventions.
de-escalates.
It's helpful.
because you're
I'm begging him to work this
a
weekend.
ginormous guy. And as far as me, I think that, a lot of my patients, what's funny to me is they ask me if I have a military background. So apparently,
You know what? I used to think though. I used to think
I
the same
would
thing.
agree.
I've always,
guess-
I thought
Oh
like that.
man.
I guess I come across as kind of militant
Oh.
and like regimented, but also like kind and goofy.
I would say I come
Yeah.
across as like down to their level. Like I can act just as crazy as they do. I will absolutely do. I mean, I am them.
Mhm.
So I tell them that there's no difference between you and I other than these keys.
Yeah.
And that's,
That's true.
and so like
Mhm.
I've lost it before, up there, and they're like, dang,
Okay, so
you need a shot.
talking about this, right?
Mhm.
So we are all humans. We are all humans, right? And it's a natural instinct reactions from aggression. So if I say that, knows I'm talking about dealing with aggressive patients, right? Or
Right.
experiences with aggressive patients. By what makes mental health nurses different from patients?
Well, so I was telling you guys about
Yeah.
a meeting we had. It was a mandatory meeting about trauma-informed care at my facility that I work at.
Mhm.
And the facilitator of the meeting looked at all of us and we went around the table and she said, if you're at the HEB and someone comes up to you and punches you straight in the face, what do you do?
Yeah.
And my obvious response, and people who know me personally, is like, I'm a little scrappy. I'm going to have 10 toes down and I'm going to try my best to knock you out if you're in the HEB and you think you're going to punch me in the face. But
What is HEB? A lot of people
The-
be
the
like,
grocery
what
store.
is
The grocery store, Walmart, wherever.
and everybody around the table had that same response. That is the most natural human instinct that we all have, is
True.
to protect ourselves,
True.
right?
Yeah.
But in the environment we work in,
Yeah.
we essentially have to suppress that
Not
instinct.
Be human.
They expect us to be robots.
Right. They expect us to be robots who are in fight or flight a lot of the time. And we're running on adrenaline and we have to keep like a calm composure. But it's like, you know, ducks on water, they're furiously paddling underneath. And I feel like that's kind of how we all are, you know, in this environment. It's high intensity emotionally and sometimes physically with aggression and things. It can be very, very intense.
Yes.
And people don't seem to understand that about maybe our work is like, it's sometimes even downright dangerous, you know? It just
Very
depends.
dangerous.
We have a lot to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do the wrong thing, you're in trouble. You can't just knock you can't knock a patient out when they do hit you, because we get hit. We get water splashed in our face. We get all kinds of things.
I've been beaten in the face.
Bitten. I mean,
Like I said, they throw poop at you sometimes.
And you're in that fight or flight moment, like she was saying, where you're, I mean, yeah, you got to be very strong-willed to keep that under, you know.
Yeah.
So
just a general question. What's the most rewarding part of working with the mental health patients?
them being thankful to me is the biggest reward, and just having them like tell Aaron they know me and they love me. Just hearing those things makes it worth it to me. But really, you know, I've got to go back this weekend, and I'm kind of because you never know what it's going to be like. But I know that I'll help somebody, and somebody's going to appreciate it more than one. And it's just so rewarding that way. To see the good stories happen. Yes. To see the patients, some of them get better and have, you know, some resources found for them. That's what helps me come back every day.
Right.
Thank you.
I would say, like, you know, we're talking about the homeless population earlier. We see these like perpetual like losses or like the striving of like a lot of our patients, and the circumstances just never improve. But occasionally you'll have a patient and you really do get like they get a legitimate win. Yes. They find some piece of their puzzle that they need to complete their story, their resources, their support, you know, housing opportunity, and that kind of falls into place for them at just the right moment.
Yes.
And it's a complete game changer. And then you may not see them again because they have figured that piece out, and that was the one crucial piece that they really needed to get sorted to be able to evolve. And so for me, that's the coolest part of it. And like, I love seeing my patients, but I love never seeing them again more. Yes. When it's a good outcome. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there are plenty of negative outcomes, but when it's a good outcome and you know that things have gotten kind of figured out for somebody, like that is a like slam dunk. So that's the coolest part of it.
And if you can help do that, you know, even if it's just saying, hey, like, come down the hall with me and talk to her and help look in the chart for phone numbers to find family. Anything you can do to help this patient reach those goals, especially the ones telling you, hey, I don't have an ID. What do I do? Yes. Look up on the internet. How do you get an ID? Look up, do whatever you can to find those resources for them. I know it's not the nurse's job, but it is your job as a human being if you're in this environment working with them to help them while they're in your care, other than just, here's your meds. I hope I don't see you again today.
Right.
Come on, guys. We can do better as people.
Okay. So how do you guys balance empathy with protecting your own mental health as nurses?
I don't handle it very well. Okay, guys.
She does.
I'm a mess most of the time lately, but it's because I'm opening my eyes to everything in this world. Everything, not just mental health, but so many things, and seeing what we do every day, the people we come in contact with that are teachers, EMS workers, drug addicts, all these things, right? Those are human beings that have severe trauma and need help. And so when you hear the stories all day, it wears on you. Not seeing them get help wears on you. Not seeing people care for them wears on you. So you either figure out a way to deal with it, like I'm trying to figure out now, like I need to start running again, I need to start doing stuff, but I've got to, I think everybody's got to find their own way. Some people get out of this, and I don't blame them sometimes, but I think if you can make a difference, you'll be able to feel better about what you're doing each day. When you leave, you can at least say, I did everything I could for them today. But we're supposed to keep them alive and ourselves alive for 12 hours, basically. So it's very like, I feel like I'm in fight or flight all day, almost being held captive. Like you don't know what could happen any minute. Like you're in such a volatile situation with so many different people from all different walks of lives with all different problems. You have these people hallucinating. You have these people just needing to come off alcohol.
Yes.
You have these people that are just sad and lonely. You have people who have been trafficked. You've had people who have been severely, severely beaten and neglected and abused, all mingling almost in the same area. So those things can be so volatile, and I think I'm in the kind of fight or flight all the time lately, and I think that's something I'm going through, but I think it's important to see it and then work on it and try to just do your best with it.
Right. Yeah, no, I get that. Like, I think my approach is like, I think every day we get to go into these facilities, though it's really challenging, it's also a gift. Like what interaction I might have that it changes my life or someone else's life in the course of 12 hours.
Right.
The opportunities abound, like any little interaction can, create sort of a domino effect.
Change a life.
For them or for us. I try to be grateful and generous with my time, my attention, anything available to me, and I think that, having a career that allows you to be in service to others. Like, I think being in service to others is the entire point of life anyway, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
we are lucky to be able to get to do that. If I worked at a bank, I'd have to have a hobby also that allowed me to do that. So I get a twofer on this one. But in order to care for my mental health, working in this field, I have to advocate for myself very hard. Like, there have been times where I know that administration pushes me because they know what I'm capable of and how efficient I can be and how much work I can accomplish, right?
And
I'm glad you brought that.
agree.
And so for me, it's like, look, I get that. However,
Superman.
I know my capacity. Don't push me past it because you may push me right on out the door, if I'm being honest. If
I'm
you
glad
do
you
it
brought that.
consistently,
Right.
that shows you don't respect me.
Yes.
So that's where my bottom line is. I don't mind working hard for you. I'll do it all day and I'm good at it.
Yes.
But if you
abuse that.
Yeah, if you over and over again put me in positions that feel compromising to myself or others, I absolutely, that limits my loyalty to you because that shows that you don't care about my well-being, and that's why I advocate for myself so hard. And I know that I kind of seem problematic sometimes. I'm certain. Like, I will throw a little bit of a tantrum from time to time, but in the spirit of
yes, for good reason.
Help keep me healthy, help me keep these people healthy.
Yes.
Safe.
If you don't care about that, then I can't care about this.
Yes.
Like, I cannot. Like, that's the bottom line for me. So.
Okay, Shab, you have anything? So, how do you guys handle situation when trying to help a patient, but the patient don't want to help themselves? What do you do?
That's difficult.
I know there's some patients be like, no matter whatever you do, whatever you try,
You have to.
they're still giving you a hard time.
I mean, give people space. Give people space, and don't go at people when they're at their highest point of anger and psychosis, whatever it is. Like, think. Use your head. I mean, like, what are you doing? You're going, patients over there freaking out mad, and you're going to be like, can I give you a TB test? I mean, like, come on, guys. I mean, wait, figure things out better. Like, give them space and stuff.
You have to use a decent amount of discernment. There are also people that, like, just as individuals, we don't mix with. If I am never going to have a rapport with you, then despite how many times I've tried,
Mhm.
I'm going to punch you to Shelby or somebody else that
Oh,
might
okay.
have the possibility of developing a connection with
Yes.
you.
Oh,
Because
okay.
truly, I mean, it's not personal. Some people, you remind them of somebody that they hate
they
in their
think that-
personal
yes.
life.
Yes, yes,
You
yes.
know, or that has hurt them, or they just don't like your vibe, and that happens, and that's
Yes.
okay. So you just have to know when there's an opportunity to be effective,
Right.
and when that's just not there.
Yep.
And
So, what coping strategies do you use after a tough shift?
after a super hard shift, I'll have a couple glasses of wine, absolutely.
Okay.
Stop at Torchy's on the way home.
Yeah, a couple marks. I've been trying to work out more. I went through a really fat summer, so I'm trying to get back at it.
Oh,
You know what I
gym.
mean?
Mhm.
I also invested in a vagus nerve stimulator.
Okay.
It's a wearable device that helps with anxiety, agitation,
Oh, okay.
sleep, a bunch of other things, that we could go into. That's a whole different discussion, but it kind of just gives you a little reset and helps with feeling more calm.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, I guess drinking, working out, and zapping my vagus nerve are my strategies. I don't know. What about you, Shelby?
I used to run, but I didn't. Sometimes I'd run at night. It's just not the safest. Even in a good neighborhood, man. And it's not the homeless people snatching your loved one up. I go out and water my plants. I mess with my antique business, which you need to follow me on Vintage Village, Vintage Vibe on. And
By the way, we need that.
but anyway, I love doing those things. I'm take care of my family. I love my girls. We traveled just recently. We just hang out together, and I
Okay.
try to de-escalate my brain, a little bit from all that, and kind of prepare for the next go around.
Okay. So anyway,
I've been known to have a drink or two.
Okay.
Like we said, Torchies, we have a little family where I work. I was going to bring that up earlier, like having a close-knit family in your work system that you think you just work with those people, they become your family. I hope they do. I have family there.
Yes.
Those patients that come in regularly, those are my family.
Yes.
Like I have family on the street.
Yes.
It's sad. But having that support system from your friends at work that relate to what you're doing every day, they understand the stress, the differences, and the problems that you see there. You talk to them outside of work too. You're like, oh man, this happened, and then just like, how are you doing today? What are you doing today? Like, how's your kids? Like, just they're good support for you. I think that's important to have that.
Battle buddies.
Yes, they understand. I talk to other people that have no idea, and they're listening, but they're not really hearing me. And they don't understand what we do all day. My family still doesn't understand what I do all day.
Right.
Yes.
My family, my daughters and my husband, they think they know, but they've never been in there and just sat for 12 hours.
Yes.
You can't imagine how your brain feels when you leave that place. You can't imagine how you feel when you get in the car and you start to drive away. Or for me, it is the most bizarre feeling. Those 10, 15, 20 minutes of driving home is bizarre. So if you can, if you're not having alcohol problems in your own life, veer off to Torchies with your friends, your work buddies, and have a cocktail or two and talk about what the hell happened all day and relax before you get home and destroy your marriage or your kids' lives over what you saw all day, because they don't understand. They don't work with you. And so use those resources within your own life with the people around you to cope, because if you don't, you will become an alcoholic yourself.
Yes.
You'll be the one going into our facilities that are judged and misunderstood. And it's those kind of people that are in our facilities that end up spiraling, and then they lose everything. That's what I'm trying to say is A plus B equals C.
Yes.
Look at the formula that led to this life. It's a human life. And everybody wants to pretend they care about humans, but do you really?
Yeah.
they're human beings and they need help. Please listen to that. And I wanted to bring up while we're on here the synthetic use again, because I think every podcast that is related to mental health, people know the main drugs out there:
Yes.
heroin, methamphetamine, cocaine, crack,
Opioids.
marijuana, opioids, which is heroin, all the pills. But there's prescription pills we forget about. But you also have to know that there's drugs that are at the gas station. I just read an article. This kid died from kratom. Now he took some Klonopin. We don't know how many. That's a factor in there. So it's kind of obsolete of this. But I'll say, we see it every single day we show up for work. People just out of their mind from the synthetic use that you get from the gas station. It's not on drug screens, and it is destroying
How is that
Texas.
How is that even legal?
It's very legal because it's like just drugs that are put into certain populations across our country. It's on purpose. Absolutely. And Texas is not legal for marijuana. So they've created this great thing that people are like, oh, I had a patient the other day detoxing so bad off of kratom. And everybody needs to know Kratom or AM, kratom, I think. Oh,
I never heard of
it. Is in the gas stations. It's everywhere. Look up when you go check out. It's everywhere in bags. It looks like weed. You can get pre-rolled. You can make tea out of it. This lady was detoxing like she was coming off heroin. And if you've ever seen somebody come off heroin, it is horrible. And she was absolutely coming off of synthetic opioid that she bought at the gas station. She said, I didn't want to get on prescription pills like my family. They had become addicted. And she said, I'm always nervous. I hurt. So she thought I would just try this. She said, it has ruined my life. She was so sick. And she, I said, please be that voice to tell people what is going on. People need to get gas stations in trouble. I mean, seriously, the people need to be, needs to be light shed on the problem. There's nobody talking about it. There's no news investigations.
Are those things like FDA approved?
No. None of that's FDA approved, but that doesn't matter.
Where do the gas station people get the stuff from?
It's chemists, but they sell it just like CBD products, but CBD doesn't do that stuff to you. So they're trying to get rid of all, THC containing stuff in Texas because some of it, like Delta and not kratom, but Delta and all that contains some amount of THC. But the problem isn't that. It's the synthetic stuff that is like in those vape pens and the bags of looks like weed, pre-rolled, all the stuff like that. It's so bad.
Yeah.
We need to talk about it more. And so every podcast I'm on, I'm going to bring it up.
Yes.
Because it's really messing people up. And it's not just something for the young people.
Yes.
It's all ages.
Well, I mean, the issue is it's not regulated. It's readily available and anyone can buy it. Like high school kids can buy it. So, I mean, you can't get any of the other stuff. And, they all talk to each other. They're all trying to find ways to experiment with like new things. And that's
especially something that gets you higher than marijuana.
Easily accessible.
Something that makes you feel like you're on heroin or meth. It depends on what kind you buy. So they're like, oh man, I feel like I'm on Adderall today, like a buzz of Adderall. But then you do the wrong batch and you're fried. People don't realize that. You might be fine for 6 months doing some of that stuff, but you do just enough, too much, or you do a wrong batch because it, like she said, it's unregulated. Every time I've watched a documentary about it, every time they get some of that stuff out of, it's like when they did the bath salts. People, they would test it. Every bag was different.
Wow.
There's no regulation to it. There's literally people like, chemists, you call them, creating this crap. Yes. And then boom, it's out there. And it's so scary.
That's something I didn't even know.
I tell all of my kids, the kids that come over and they're like, oh my God, Miss Shelby's going to start talking about this. But I'm like, I swear, guys, if y'all, ever do this, you could really not necessarily die. Just be so messed up that you're in a psychiatric facility for the rest of your life, like a state hospital. People don't realize that. I have patients that we do that need to be in a state hospital.
And I see a lot
They're
of
never going to get better.
That's why I see a lot of adolescent kids nowadays in psych hospitals.
Yes, you don't see methamphetamine can do that like long term, but marijuana, no. You know, this is like boom, their brains are gone. They can't talk anymore. Yeah. They don't know what's going on. They're just spaced out.
And trust us, guys. Nobody wants to be there for the rest of your life. Not you,
not
us. I mean, but really, like, it's a stabilization facility. And like, if you think about sometimes how bleak the environment is in our current work environments, you translate that exponentially to a state facility, how insanely awful that must be for the people who are forever patients there. Like, it's not a good look long term. Really, it's not.
No.
So guys, winding up, I have two questions. The first one gonna be, what's something you wish the public understands better about psychiatric nursing?
Oh man. I mean, I don't think that that's something that the public thinks about very much, to be honest. But like you were saying, just that, you know, even your family, like my son, when I tell him about, you know, random things that happen at work, there's no way that you can understand what working in those environments is like unless you actually do it. I would say even other nurses, you know, who have never worked in psychiatric nursing, it's hard for you guys to even understand what that's like unless you've, you know, been in that environment. I know we get like a couple of sessions of clinical rotations through, you know, psych hospitals when you're going through school. But I think that, you know, unless you're regularly exposed to, you know, the tension, the energy, the, you know, behaviors, I don't know, just everything, and having to formulate plans of care for these patients and absorbing all of the negative emotions.
Energy.
And, you know, suppressing your own emotions, being that robot human we were talking about, you really, you don't know. So if you see us at the Torchies, just know that we need it. We need it. That's what they don't understand. We need the Torchies every now and then.
So anyway, if you had the power, or what changes could you do to improve mental health situation in the entire United States?
Well, I think like Shelby was saying earlier, they develop not these camps necessarily, but like housing facilities for the homeless population, partnered with like intense social service, you know, programs to be able to help people get their bearings, find their foundation, and just keep building their lives outward, and making it more stable so that eventually they can become, you know, productive members of society. You don't have to rely on this very broken system.
Yes.
I think that that's the issue, is nothing like that exists anywhere.
There isn't.
You know, throughout this country.
There's places that I've, like in Conroe, there's a new place that has started building. It's like a miracle city, they're calling it. It's just a community that there's like 3 homes in there, little houses, you know, but it's something they're starting. And those things need to be bigger, right? But it needs to, the government needs to get involved. The federal resources, the local resources, the community, the cities need to be like, man, we got to do something. You can't just send all of these people out on an island somewhere. Right. Where are they going to go? And unless you start trying to figure those things out and like helping them get those resources to be like, are people that don't want to do better for themselves. There are. And those people are going to, I don't know what they'll do, but there are people that want better, that want to get off the street, that want to be successful in life and have goals and have families and but their families are messed up. They're sick and they're displaced. You know, you have just cycles, right? And so getting those resources, but having some shelter for them. You don't want to see them on the sidewalks. And I heard the other day, we're sick of seeing the needles and we're sick. It's dangerous. Well, that's happening everywhere, inside people's homes too, that have electricity and all those things. So wake up. They just happen to have tents and they're sleeping right where you're walking. That's the difference. That's happening everywhere. The crimes are happening in your own communities. Like I said earlier, the people snatching up our children are not homeless people. Wake up. It's the money makers. So like be aware of what's really going on and let's try to like help them. You know, if you see someone asking for money, give them some money if you have extra money. Hopefully they buy, my thing is hopefully they buy a sandwich and a drink. And I always tell them, man, I wish I had time for your story, but these people are going to honk back here and I love you. Like, I hope this helps you. If you use it for something else, that's your decision, man or lady. But I try to like give that $5, man. $5 can change a life. And they go, man, somebody does care about me. Just those little things. Give them a card to your facility. Say, I know you might not want to be on medicines. That's the fear of a lot of people. They're like, I don't want to be on all these meds. I just need a help. I'm not schizophrenic. I just need a place to go. I don't use drugs. I just need help. I'm having to sleep at this, little under the bridge here. So educate yourself. If you care at all, try to do something.
Right.
That's why we're doing this. We do deeply care. We want to see a difference in our own communities and in America in general. We're supposed to be the country, the greatest country in the world, but yet we have
the greatest.
I would love to see, and I wish I would have looked at I know there's homelessness in other countries, but we should not have that here. We have people sending things up into space constant. I mean, all the SpaceX, all this stuff, Amazon, all these big companies that are worth one person is worth billions and billions of dollars in our country. And we have homeless people covering our cities, and no one seems to give two craps about them, except certain people, right? But those people need to come together and we need to do something.
Man.
I'm wound up. But we're passionate, guys. We love our patients. We love people. I love people. I was in Florida this weekend and I saw so many homeless people. And my daughter watches me interact with them. She's like, Mom, what are you doing? I'm like, this is a regular dude here.
Yes.
And quit being scared of these people. If you, it's like just human nature to want to connect with people. And I want to say, you're a good dude, man. I hope this helps you. I hope you do okay tonight. It's like you said, showing love to humans is our purpose. If you can realize that as being kind and helping people is a purpose in life in any way you can, you're fulfilling your destiny.
And we just hope our voices are going to be heard all over the world, especially in America.
Subscribe.
Exactly. Subscribe, share. And
share it.
Yes.
Because we just want the message to be spread everywhere.
Yes.
Guys.
This is